And welcome to this episode of See You Next Tuesday. I'm joined by Matt today,
Hey,
and he is founder of these little beauties. I'm going to lift it right up so that you can see. Crafted with flavour, Jono made gin right here in Kent. So, can you tell me how this all came about?
It's a funny story, and highs and lows, something for everyone. It came about from my son Josh, who had intended to do a sports degree at Auckland University. We were living in Auckland and New Zealand at the time. And he injured his knee and needed knee reconstruction.
Oh, wow.
So this actually came out, and I would say this is a cautionary tale for all parents, right? So my wife Debbie, Josh was driving us nuts, said to him one day to move him into a more positive space.
Yeah.
Look, you can't do the sports degree, but if you had a blank sheet of paper, what would you do? And it's from that conversation that we ended up moving 12,000 miles and setting up a gin distillery in Kent.
Oh, wow! So that's his paper.
Yeah, so like I said, cautionary tale. Be careful what you ask your kids to do, right?
Oh, wow. So you're now based in Kent?
Yeah, so we live in Tunbridge Wells. The distillery is on the Chevening estate just north of Sevenoaks.
Okay.
People can come and visit, do a distillery, look and feel and touch and taste.
We get a taste.
Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely taste. I open the distillery every Saturday, and other times during the week you kind of have to look out for that. But at the moment, definitely every Saturday between 11 and 3. So you can come along and have a free tasting. So just let me say that, free tasting.
We love a bit of free.
Yeah. And we just set out to make big, bold, flavoured gin. Because I don't know about you, but I've had way too many heavy-handed bar staff kill a perfectly good gin and tonic. And when I want a gin and tonic, I want to be able to taste the gin.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to taste the mixer.
Well,
the mixer should complement it.
I don't like tonic, so when they complement, when it covers the taste of the tonic, I'm in.
Yeah, so for me, it was one of those things is like, I understand why Fever Tree went with their marketing of 3/4 of the drink. I get that. But actually, the cost is actually in the spirit. So why wouldn't you want to enjoy the spirit is where I was coming from.
Yeah,
so we set out to make big flavoured gin.
Fantastic. So what was going on for your son at that time, Josh? How old was he?
He was 20 at the time.
Okay.
And it's a really challenging time anyway, you're growing into a young man, and his thoughts, I suppose, at that time were, I'm going to do this sports degree, I'm going with my best mate, and it's going to be great, and then to have that ripped away is, and other trauma that he's experienced in his life.
Yeah.
It was a real challenge for him, and he didn't really know what he wanted to do. And he had been diagnosed as dyslexic, but quite late in his school career. So he only had a couple of years of support before doing big exams. And he didn't really think that he would be able to fit into a corporate world and be able to cope with that office environment. It's completely different now. I mean, he's fine, but one of the So one of the things that we set as an objective for the project was to help Josh get some skills around corporate life and be able to work in a business world that he felt that he didn't have at that time. My youngest son, Noah, he was just at the point of going to high school at that time, which was why we ended up doing it as quick as we did.
Yeah.
It was basically that time of either you do it now or you've got to wait 5 or 6 years before it happens. So it was quick, but life for us is about experiences. That pervades everything that we do. we don't believe that life is, for stuff, or, it's about the people that you meet and the journeys that you take and the experiences and the stories that you pick up along the way. That's what enriches our lives, and it's kind of, it's never been about the financial gain. It's about what that journey is for us as a family, but also what we can impart to other people as well.
Yeah, and the good stories come from around the gym, don't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And each one of these has got a story, that's for sure.
Oh, lovely. We'll definitely hear about that. I just want to go back to you and your partner.
Yeah.
So how did you feel moving back to the UK? It's a bit of a change.
It's a weird one, Lucy. If from the outside I can understand that people would, but I was born in New Zealand. I came to the UK at 10. I went travelling and ended up back in New Zealand when I was 18. Came back to the UK. Debbie and I went to New Zealand in 2002. And then so I've been coming backwards and forwards between New Zealand and the UK for a very long time. And Debbie, God bless her and her patience, she's just a phenomenal woman. But she just kind of got into New Zealand life and culture, and it was a wrench for her.
Yeah.
She had definitely felt like she was at home in New Zealand. But like I say, it was kind of like, well, these are the things that we're doing for our boys.
Yeah.
And Noah hadn't had the opportunity to live in the UK like the rest of us had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something special about being able to live in another culture and kind of absorb it fully. Mm-hmm. And as parents, we're in the business of creating well-rounded individuals, and without a doubt, this has been amazing for Noah, where he is with his football and what he's doing with me in the business, and he's a phenomenal young man. So wow. So that was the thought around it. It wasn't so much what we were losing, it was what we were gaining for them.
Really lovely outlook.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you've been through trauma in your life, as you know, you've got to find how you can turn that negative into a positive for your own mental health as much as anything. Because there are learnings from it. That's one of the things that I've learned over the last couple of years in particular, because I used to beat myself up about perceived failures. Was there isn't anything as such thing as failure. It's about learning. It's about what you can then glean from that situation to help you or help someone else the next time that situation arises. And I really passionately believe that, because that's, I know you get it. It's exactly what you do.
Yeah, exactly. So we've just touched there on mental health.
Yeah.
Have you always had that thought process?
No. It's been a challenge. So I'm of an age and a generation where my parents were very much, kids are seen and not heard, shut up in the corner, that kind of. And my dad had an upbringing of, he was born just prior to the war.
Okay.
His father used to send him, his brother and his step brother out to collect coal off the railway lines, and if they didn't collect enough coal, then Charlie used to beat the shit out of them. So that was his upbringing, and you can't help but bring some of what you experienced into the next. So one of the things for me has been about breaking the cycle with our boys, is like, need to turn that. But I didn't talk about stuff. I didn't, everything was bottled up. It was, the challenge of providing for the family, doing the right thing, and I just felt for a long time since we've been in the UK setting up this that I wasn't providing for the family. We weren't where we wanted to be, and that was my fault, and that was my failing.
How did that feel and I hate to use this term, but I feel like that pressure is, a lot of men can relate to that pressure.
Yeah, I don't think that anything I experienced is unique to me. But one of the things that I know that has helped, and it took me a while to get to this place, is being able to share it, because we were taught, to shut up.
Yeah.
We were taught to be quiet, and big boys don't cry. All of those types of things. It was all about bottling up that emotion and just putting it away somewhere else, because guys don't talk about that.
No.
I've got news for you. We do, and we should, and that's what I encourage our boys to do. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you say, it's that old culture, I think, sweeping it under the carpet. How did you, or when did you first start talking? Because that's a big thing.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a linear thing. There are peaks and troughs. Even just a few weeks ago, I had a massive wobble.
Okay.
And you wonder what the hell you're doing, putting all your pension money into a business, and not engaging in full-time work, even though you tried to get full-time work, and not being able to get a job or an interview. These are things that I thought were relatively straightforward. I'm a hardworking guy. I've got a few clues, but I can't even get an interview to, so, and it going back to that, deep instilled thing of you're not providing, you're not securing the roof over the head, you're not putting food on the table. Those things are still real. So for me, the journey is very live, and it's still. But these types of forums and talking to Debbie and even talking to the boys about it, because we've shared a very open and honest dialogue about mental health, from both ways.
Yeah.
Because I want them to feel that they can talk about it, and it's healthy to talk about it, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Josh has this awesome tattoo. It's like, "This too shall pass." And it's remembering these things that, while it's quite bleak at that moment in time, it's not like that forever. It will change. And the sun will come up tomorrow. It will go down in the evening, and it will start all over again, and there will be a new day and a fresh perspective. So
When you spoke about your emotions and healing's not linear, which I think sometimes people go to therapy or go to things and think, "Oh, I'm fixed. That's it. Done.
No.
Brilliant." But I wonder, do you find that your moods are less dramatic?
Yeah, it's in a narrower band, I would say.
Nice, yeah.
I think that it's Rudyard Kipling's "If," isn't it? Is if you can treat these two imposters, he was talking about, victory, and I can't remember the other one, to be honest with you, but basically treating these two imposters, which are great success or low lows, moderating those and going, actually, I'll just be in this band here, to enjoy and to celebrate the wins. We've just been awarded Best Emerging Brand. We've got press. So we've got some amazing things going on in our business. So I'm really proud of what we're doing as a family and as a business. But also, by the same token, January was an absolute die a month in terms of sales.
Everyone doing dry jam.
And you go, oh, how am I going to pay the bills? Those practical and real things are still there.
But you survived January because you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, this too shall pass. So, but it's not getting too low about that, and thinking about, okay, well, not focusing on how am I going to pay the bills, but actually doing something to get revenue or have more conversations with people, to have more sales conversations or build brands and those types of things that actually help them to pay the bills.
And I'd like to say, how brave, like to go out there and think, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this. This is the way I'm heading. That's a real brave thing. So I'd like to say that first of all, and also I'm privy to a little bit of information. But can we just talk about your gin label?
We can.
And also I'm very passionate about staying away from the larger firms and supporting the littler, because they're real family, and I think this.
So everything that we do is with meaning.
Yeah.
And that's really important to us. So for me, the customer experience is everything.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe as human beings that we love to tell stories. We're hardwired to tell stories. And like I said earlier, experience and gaining more stories and enjoying experiences through life, so you can kind of create milestones through great experiences, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So we wanted to be able to bring that into our brand. So first, let me explain the name. So John O'May, there is no Jono. I get asked that. Yeah, I get asked that a lot. There is no Jono. It is a conglomeration of the 4 family members. So oldest son Josh, youngest son Noah, my name's Matt, and my wife's name's Debbie. So that's why we're John O'May. And our label, it consists of 2 halves of a circle, as you can see here. And it's basically because Deb and Josh were born here in the UK, the Northern Hemisphere. And Noah and I were born in New Zealand, the Southern Hemisphere. And we've got it on an angle because we spent time in both. That's why our label is. So this is literally our family flag.
So your family is literally at the heart of it all.
Oh, can I tell you a story about our heart? Okay, so it's traditional to name your stills.
Okay.
So I have 2 working stills that I use, one for R&D and one that we have at the distillery, which we manufacture. So the one that I do the R&D is...
What is R&D?
Depends on who you talk to. If it's Jim Francis, it's rip off and duplicate. For most people, it's research and development.
Okay.
So I've got this little 3-litre still, and it's called Araha. Araha in Maori means love.
Yeah.
So all of our gins start with this little bit of love. And so that is the heart of what we do. The big still's called Annie. Annie's named after my grandmother, who loved gin.
Oh,
so,
lovely.
Yeah.
And I hear your flavours have got a story too, have they?
Yes. So each of them has got a little bit of family in there, one way or another, experience or what we wanted. So the first one I created is this one. So this is my take on a classic Indian spice inspired London dry. Have a smell of that.
Oh yeah.
So this has got lots of fennel, star anise, cardamom. No, you like a wheat dribble, don't you?
I don't mind. I must say it's 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not really.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
That's divine.
Just want medals and everything.
That is so good. If you could taste it down the mic or camera, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, so But when we started out, I had no idea that I could create anything that was palatable, let alone saleable. The fact that we've
So
got
you had no experience whatsoever?
no experience. Literally, when we lobbed up in Tunbridge Wells in 2018, I had no still, no recipe, no
clue.
We had a business plan. I wrote a business plan, and we had the name. Like I sussed the name out quite quickly. But yeah, everything's been that journey of learning and challenging yourself to. And I think that's part of my healing journey as well. It's like I love what we've created here. But there's so much of me that goes into here, and that's one of the challenges for me is I find it still deeply personal, the rejection, but I know that I've still got to go and have those conversations.
I get that. Because you put your heart and soul into it,
so I've got to, and I'm getting into a really good headspace now where I can differentiate that personal and product piece. So. But yeah, this was unashamedly to the taste of the family.
Yeah.
Because Debbie and I, if we were going into our retirement with a boatload of gin, we wanted to bloody well like it. So this is unashamedly to our taste. But it's quite polarising, honestly. We've recently had feedback from a well-known gin subscription company.
Wow.
That refused to take our gin because they felt it was so divisive and so different that they didn't feel that their members would appreciate it. And you know what? That's a rejection that I celebrate.
I was going to say, what a compliment.
Yeah. I'm like...
What's a compliment?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're different. So, and I love that. Anyway, quite polarising. So at the other extreme... The next one I created is called Dolly's Mix. So Dolly was my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
And she loved raspberries. So this is raspberry and cherry. Now, I have to say, I do the recipes. Actually, no, I'll tell you what.
We're doing a different one.
Yeah, I'll do a different one. Just because those flavours you'll end up tasting two different gins. Right. So I create these flavours and I don't do sweet.
Oh,
so this really is what I would describe as...
This is just pink gin but classy, is how I would describe it. It's more flavoursome, just yumminess.
You can taste the raspberries and the cherries.
100%. It is. I mean, I could just drink this. Jay! Nobody call me after this.
Yeah. And as befitting,
that is definitely a bit of me sort of gin.
It's painful to make as befitting a gin dedicated to my mother-in-law. So it takes about 6 weeks from beginning to end. Because we actually put real fruit in there for 3 weeks, and then I spend another 3 weeks filtering out the bits and pieces from the raspberries and cherries.
That is absolutely lovely.
Then the next one I created, which is now Debbie's new favourite, is called Nana's Nip. And this is a tribute to my Nana Annie that I named the still after. Annie loved gin and orange.
Oh, okay.
So back in the day, they used to do gin and orange cordial.
Oh, okay. Never knew that.
Yeah. It's like a gimlet, but something a bit different. So this is not orange cordial, I can assure you. Is really good. If you like a Negroni.
That's really...
Yeah, try it with just a bit of tonic.
That is really lovely, yeah. I've nicked most of it. I don't know what it's about.
Good on you. That will be different with the tonic completely.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. Opens out all that orange. So I actually use
that's me being greedy.
I use 3 different types of orange in there. Yeah. So I got dried orange peel, which has got a little bit of the pith, so that white stuff that kind of makes it a little bit bitter. I peel fresh Valencia oranges, and then I juice them as well. My hands smell lovely afterwards. All this orange oil for days afterwards. And then we do it really low and slow. So this takes about 16 odd hours to distill a full batch. So yeah.
That would be, I would like that on a summer's day.
Got a real treat for you.
Oh God. Be absolutely nagging.
No, so this one is my next limited edition. It's based on my dad's garden. My dad, when I was a teenager, when we first moved here to the UK, he was able to, mum and dad bought a new house, and he was able to lay out a garden the way he wanted it, and this garden was his pride and joy. And this is based on that garden. So it's got rose, it's got lavender, it's got sweet pea, it's got violets, and these are things that I remember from his garden when I was growing up.
What a different combination! I would never have put that together.
But this is done very John O'Maid style, in that it's not a twee. Can I say that? Twee floral?
Yeah.
It's still big. Have a smell of that first, and then I'll put a little bit of tonic in there.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be nice and relaxed this afternoon.
I know, I'm meant to be getting stuff done. I don't know if that's my favourite now. I really like that. I've got a real thing for roses anyway. I'm very much like a heart thing.
Yeah.
But that is scrum.
The one, this one, Fentimans do a rose lemonade. Makes an incredible long drink.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm toying between the two really, but they're all delicious, and I love the story behind them. And my question is to you now: if you were a gin, what would you be?
I think it's that's a great question. I haven't never really thought of it from my perspective. I've always thought about other people.
Sounds like you in Hull.
Yeah, so I would say there would need to be two parts of it. I'm a Gemini, so I have two very distinct personalities. So I don't know how I would bring that to the fore.
Would you need to though? Could you just have a two?
I think it would be a complementary, and perhaps one of the ones that I'm working on at the moment would be a fair reflection of it. Is I'm doing a berry, strawberry, and basil.
Oh yeah, nice.
So, being a Gemini, my birthday's in June, and strawberries come out in June, and I think that, and being, well, once was a strawberry blonde, I think it would be, I'm not a particularly fruit type of guy, like this is not my favourite out of our range. But I think having the berry in there with something that's quite like, so I love Italian food, and I love that taste of fresh basil. You know, fresh basil on tomato, balsamic. So I quite like that combination of, it's not what you would expect, and it would give some. And I'm actually working on that at the moment. So potentially that would be your gin. It would be my gin. Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. How about you? If I was to make a gin for you, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Something that goes well with bubbles, I would say. What would I say is me? See, I quite like exotic fruits. Like, I really love passion fruit, mango, pineapple, that sort of vibe. A bit Caribbean-y.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just bought a fruit box from the exotic fruit box. But I would say that was me, yeah.
I like the idea of passion fruit. Passion fruit's lovely.
And do you know how many variations there are of passion fruits? I've been very educated this week.
Really?
Yes.
We used to have a passion fruit vine in the back garden of the apartment that we lived in Auckland, and it was just like fresh passion fruit off the vine.
Yum.
Yeah.
So I guess we're coming towards the end now. Yeah. We've I'm feeling a little bit tipsy now, I'm joking. Thank you for joining us firstly, But second of all, I think you've touched on some really not relatable things that men can relate to.
Yeah.
So if someone's sitting there listening to this and hasn't talked or hasn't reached out, what would you say to them?
It's okay to start off with. It's okay. You're not the only one. And there are people that can help you.
Mm-hmm.
You do need to take it in steps, but do have a conversation with someone that you trust.
Mm-hmm.
It really is important to reach out and have the conversation. And if you're not at that point that you're still struggling so badly, journal it, because at least then you're having the conversation with yourself and you'll be able to get some of those things down on paper and kind of look at it from a perspective of, is this really true, or am I catastrophizing it and making it something that it's not? But reach out and have the conversation. Ultimately, you need to talk about it. Absolutely. Because unless you talk about it and identify the issues, you can't heal. If you don't know what the issue is and don't identify it, you can't heal.
Yeah, 100%. That's lovely advice. Well, thank you ever so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us.
A joy to be here.
And get down to the gin distillery.
John O'Maid. Follow us at John O'Maid Gin.
Yeah, I'll tag your Insta. And yeah, thank you ever so much.
You're welcome.
See you next Tuesday.